bit while listening to Carolyn and listening to some of the other speakers about these sorts of evenings, how wonderful they are, but in a way how insufficient they are, because it can't possibly equal the magnitude of the impact Marv has had. Especially in this field, and we've talked about this particularly a lot tonight. How many thousands of people who otherwise would have been forgotten are better and reclaim their lives because Marvin Southard chose to lead and give. Let's stand and give him our appreciation as we hear from our honorees.
I had told several people that this process of going to retirement events was like an extended wake, as somebody alluded to, but then people told me that was the wrong metaphor. So this is not a wake, this is a farewell concert tour. And one of the benefits of being in this farewell concert tour is I've gotten to hear people describe my speaking style. And from that, I've learned three things. One of them is that I rely on ancient languages in my presentation, that I quote the works of Malcolm Gladwell, and that I use music to illustrate the points that I want to make. Well, tonight, I'm going to only give you two of the three. No Malcolm Gladwell. So I thought that since this was the final mental health director event, I would raise my game and go above Latin and use Greek. But the disadvantage of that for me is that my store of knowledge in Greek is relatively small. It includes a few prayers and Bible verses, the Our Father, the Hail Mary, the first part of the Gospel of John, some words for bones and tissues that my son Adam has taught me, and some phrases from my fat Greek wedding. So that doesn't leave me with a whole lot to use. But then, thinking about it, there was a word that I thought was proper for this evening. And the word is kekaritomenos. And for those of you who don't have any Greek, that is from the Hail Mary, and it means full of grace. Those of you with a theological disposition may know that grace is both the most complicated and the most simple of theological concepts. And for me, I'll choose the simple. And the most simple way of thinking of what grace is grace is the acknowledgement that everything before you is a gift. And being able to experience gratitude for the gift that this moment provides you. And in this very limited sense, I feel that I am kekaritomenos, or full of grace, because I have been given the gift of the appreciation that has shown itself from all of you this evening. And I wanted to make sure that I recognize, at least briefly, and I'm not going to go through every piece of gratitude that I have for the gifts that I've been given, but I'll just hit a few of the highlights. So one of the things that I have been gifted from was, as people have mentioned, a family in which values came first. My mother and my father were people of high value that shared love with their children to an intense degree. So I am grateful for my family. My sister Maria, my brother Philip are here today, and I will consider you to be gifts to me. Then I went into the seminary, and that experience was different from in the 60s, from most people's high school experience. And I happen to have with me today in this room is 25% of my graduating class. Wow. There were only 12 of us. But there are two of my classmates from high school, Jerry Smith and Jose Luis Flores, who are here, and you, and that experience has been a gift to me that has made me what I am. Then I went from high school in Arizona to St. John's Seminary in Camarillo, California. And I think you've heard a little bit about some of my experiences there. I've received a great many gifts from that experience, but some of those have to do with my close, enduring friendship with Reuben and the Jets, which is the Frank Zappa cover band in which I participated. I think participated is a better word than sang in, for those who heard me. And there are very members of Reuben and the Jets here today, including Father Joe Holquin is also a member of Reuben and the Jets. So, would Reuben and the Jets please stand and be recognized? Allied with Reuben and the Jets were other friends from the seminary who are here, also including the traveling squad. Now, Dean Flynn, the traveling squad is a group of it used to be about 20 of us. It's now a smaller group that we have been going to the UCLA USC basketball game for the last 40 years. Wow. And we have been ecumenical, split on both sides for all of these years. I don't know if I will change sides or not. But my experience at St. John's was a wonderful gift from me, from which I have carried enduring friends that have carried me through this far in my life. My friends at St. John's also included people from Fresno and the Fresno diocese, because we also came into St. John's as outsiders and then participated. We were kind of the subversive group, and I have a friend, Jim Silva, and his wife, who are here today, who are also a part of that journey, and there were many from that time that are also gifts to me. Then I left the seminary, took a leave of absence, went to UC Berkeley. I don't think I ever actually formally ended my leave of absence, but anyway, I never actually did return. And I stopped getting the mail from the diocese, so I guess that was it. But I came to work in Kern County, and in Kern County, I was able to get a job working for Kern County Mental Health. Actually, it wasn't a job, it was my student internship. And I was a student internship there because of a man named Philip Foley, who was a priest, but also acting as the director of alcohol and drug abuse for Kern County. And one of his children, who's my godson, is here today. So Aaron Foley is here today representing that gift into my life. So I worked in a program called Kaleidoscope, where Dean Flynn did a mobile program serving 5 small communities in San Joaquin Valley using a mobile van. And in that context, I met my wife, Carolyn. And so that was obviously a huge gift into my life. And then I ended up going to UCLA, getting my PhD. I have friends from UCLA who are here tonight. And that UCLA and my friendships and relationships there were a gift, a grace to me. From UCLA, I went to work in East LA at El Centro Mental Health and formed friendships there that have lasted me throughout my whole life, and deep friendships that have influenced how I see the world, including this world of mental health and mental health treatment. So I worked at El Centro for 10 years. Started out as a forensic specialist, and then left as the clinical director, and then left to move to Kern County, where I met, and the reason I moved to Kern County is to marry Carolyn. And Patrick and our son Adam, who isn't able to be here tonight, were the biggest gifts there, but not the only gifts there, because I also formed a core of friendships with people in Kern County that have also lasted to this day. And there are friends from Kern County who came here tonight, and you also are gifts to me. So then I worked in Kern County for about 7 years, and then got this job in Los Angeles County. And as I've told several people, I really did well in the job interviews because I didn't want the job. I applied to the position as a favor to Arita, because she said she wanted a nice pool of applicants for the position. So I prepared for my job interview by not listening to the radio on the drive from Bakersfield. And I guess when you're not nervous, or I guess when I'm not nervous, I do better on job interviews. So anyway, I became the mental health director here after several panic attacks. And I have to say that it has been a wonderful experience. I think you have seen the kind of partnerships that we have been able to develop here in Los Angeles County with board offices, with the CEO. Mr. Fujioka here has been a strong supporter of what we attempted to do in the Department of Mental Health and our partnerships there. My fellow department heads have been supportive through these years, but I'll come back to some more of this later. And then there's my management team. So here I have the chief deputies table. I have all of my chief deputies here tonight. So my first chief deputy was Dave Meyer. Then Susan Kerr was my next chief deputy. Sheila Shima was my next chief deputy, and then Robin Kay is the acting director of the Department of Health, my former company. So I've had 4 chief deputies, but 1 medical director. So Dr. Rod Shaner, who is the only one on the LA County management team who was there when I got there. I replaced everybody else. No. So Rod has been a really huge gift to us through the years. So I want to now move from ancient languages and the gifts that have made me feel like I am full of grace tonight and talk about a few songs.